for now, Gus. Flicka looks real good this morning, Ken.
Gus gave me some goose grease for her hoops last night. Makes them shiny, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Dad, look!
Gus!
What's the matter, man? It's my husband and my boy. Our wagon broke down over by the creek. My boy is watching his father. He's out of his head with a fever. Something's real wrong with him.
Gus, get her into the house. Ken and I'll get the others.
Sure is a nice room.
Will that be enough broth for you, Mr. Hunter?
It's just fine. He's much better. Not a trace of fever left.
Well, I'm still a little weak.
We'll not worry about that, Sam. I'm only thankful nothing's wrong that'll keep us from starting in the morning.
That soon?
You certainly look better than when we brought you in here.
Well, I feel better just being here.
His fever's gone. Left him all of a sudden.
I saw men in the cavalry before going into Sioux territory that came down with just enough fever to get them relieved of duty.
Excuse me. Are you saying the same thing about my husband?
I'm saying that perhaps Mr. Hunter's fever came from being scared.
Rob, it's not your place to.
Well, if he was scared, do you think he'd come this far west? Give up his work in Ohio?
I'm sure your husband will do exactly as he planned.
We're buying a ranch in Oregon. The West is open to men who have vision. Isn't that right?
Perhaps if you stayed over a few days.
My husband and I really thank you for your hospitality, but whether we stay or not, Mr. Hunter isn't turning back. He wouldn't think of it. He promised me and the boy to take us to a new home, and he's living up to that promise. We'll be leaving in the morning.
Sure, a lucky thing this wheel did not break in half.
Yeah. You'd better go in the barn and make some room for these animals, Gus.
Yeah.
Would you like a glass of fresh milk?
Thank you. Is my pop gonna be all right?
He's going to be just fine. There, Ken and Flicka. Why don't you run along and play with him? Everything's going to be all right.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, hi. Hi. We'll be having a place like this when we get to Oregon. My father said he'll be getting me a horse and everything. Not like Flicka.
Oh, you can't be too sure of that, Ken. There's lots of good horses in the world. What's your name, son?
Billy. Billy M. Hunter. I sure like horses. I can ride 'em, too. Can I ride him? It's a she. Nobody can ride her except me. But if you want, I'll show her some tricks she can do.
You say you're headed for Oregon.
Yes, sir.
How far have you come?
From Ohio.
In that wagon?
It's a good wagon.
Oregon's 600 miles from here. Your father can't be figuring on traveling like this all that way.
He got us this far, didn't he?
Yeah? Sure he did. Ken, why don't you show Billy your menagerie?
You ever seen an ostrich, a panther, and an alligator all together? All together? Come on, I'll show you. Gee, look.
This whole thing's falling apart. I never got this far. Just don't make sense.
Nothing about this makes sense.
That's a lizard.
It is, too, an alligator. You ought to see him swing his tail.
I'm catching myself some real animals when I get to Oregon. A real panther. My pop's giving me a gun. He said he would.
Can your father shoot a gun? Can he hit a target 100 yards off?
Sure. My pop can do anything.
Stop clumping around. I don't want my bread to fall.
I'm not clumping.
Dragging that woman and boy off to Oregon with as little knowledge as Hunter has, it's cruel. Nothing about it's right. It's all wrong. You saw his wagon, the condition it's in.
Rob, they'll hear you.
Well, let him hear me. He's no farmer, honey. He's a printer. He told me so himself. And he's scared.
His wife believes he can do it.
Well, he doesn't. But he hasn't got nerve enough to tell her.
And I suppose you think that you're the one to tell him?
That'll be reasonable. What if they reach Oregon? What's he going to do? Build a house, then? Clear ground for planting? Him? The printer? Well, I think somebody ought to tell him to go back and stick to his trade.
When you left the cavalry, you didn't know any more about ranching than Mr. Hunter knows about farming.
I knew about horses. Hunter doesn't even know that. The man's bound to fail.
A man can do anything if someone believes in it. If there's even just a spark of courage, it'll grow. Martha Hunter wants to be proud of the man she married. The way I'm proud of you.
Oh, girl. This little mare is real gentle. Her name's Poppy. Maybe we can catch a real lion. Maybe. Did your father really make this?
Sure. My dad makes lots of things for me. He can do anything with his hands.
Sure a pretty bridle, all right. I bet my pop could make one. He knows how to tie ropes. Plays the guitar, too.
Here you are, Gus.
Thank you, Captain. It sure is a shame the way that fella treated those horses.
Yeah, it'll be a while before they're much good for anything again.
Yeah.
They're fine horses. My father said he got them for a good price.
Yeah. You think your father's a pretty special fella, don't you, boy?
He's not afraid of gunmen or outlaws or nothing. He's wonderful.
Yeah.
Hey, Billy! Let's go for a ride. What do you say? Sure! Up you go. Let's go!
You'll be back in an hour now. You hear, Ken?
Yes, sir.
Captain, that Mr. Hunter, he's going to have trouble on the way. Maybe you ought to tell him straight out.
Nell doesn't want me to.
Well, you want I should tell him?
No. No, I'm letting him leave tomorrow, just as he planned to do. You have a good night's rest, Mr. Hunter?
Why, yes, I'd say I had a fine night, Mr. McLaughlin. Your boy sure has a mighty fancy bridle here. It's real kind of you to give it to Billy.
I wanted him to have it.
Sam, how soon are we going to be ready?
Oh, right away. Well, I guess I'd better hitch up the horses. Look, Ken gave Billy the bridle.
Give it back.
But, Mom! I guess I didn't want it, really. But I gave it to you.
Very kind of you, but Mr. Hunter will fix him one just as good. Now, we're not putting ourselves under any further obligation. Sam, you better hitch the horses.
Oh, what's the best way to get out of here?
Keep to the south until you strike the Salt Bluff Trail. Wagon trains come along there sometimes. Your best bet's to travel with a train.
I see.
Bob, you and Gus helping with the horses?
I'm busy, honey.
Mr. Hunter will get the outfit.
It'll be no trouble, Captain.
You've got things to do in the North Pasture, Gus.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you folks just go on in the house? I can do it by myself.
But I want to watch you.
Take
Come along, Billy. As long as we have the time, let me wash your face.
Ken?
Yes, ma'am.
I was looking at one of your horses in there last night, Mr. Hunter. He looks kind of spooky. If you need any help, I'll...
No, thanks.
Something's wrong, isn't it, Flicka? Why did Mrs. Hunter make Billy give me back that bridle?
Well, why did you give it to him in the first place? I made it for you.
Because I knew his father couldn't make one for him, and Billy admired it. Is it really wrong to give something to somebody who couldn't get it for himself?
Sometimes it is.
Rob, you could have helped Mr. Hunter with those horses.
I think you better run along now, son.
No, I think you should hear this.
Well, you didn't want me to help Hunter last night. Why do you want me to help him now?
You're wrong. You can give a man a lift without shoving him over a cliff.
We see things differently.
You know that's not true.
Honey, we have our own lives to lead. Let the Hunters lead theirs. I don't want to be dragged into their problems anymore.
as I say! Get back!
Are you all right, Pop?
Can you get him back, Mr. McLaughlin?
Me and Billy will get him. Come on.
No, I'll get him back myself. Can I borrow one of your horses?
Sure, go ahead.
Not a sign of him.
Don't worry, Pop. We'll get him for you. He might even come back by himself.
All right, Billy. Not much good, am I? No sense trying to fool anybody.
Well, maybe you're just not much good for this kind of life.
Would you mind if we stayed around until we find out whether the horse comes back or not? If he doesn't, I'll have to make some other arrangements.
No, I wouldn't mind. Go ahead and wait.
What are you going to do, Sam?
Just leave me alone.
Pop.
It'll all work out, son.
Let's you and me try and get the horse back, Billy.
We can do it.
He's not cut out for what I pushed him into. I know that now. He's not a farmer. He's not a printer either. He's just a helper, really.
I'd better tell my mother I'm going. All right. I'll get the horses ready.
I wanted him to rise above his station, not settle for half measures. I was willing to help. I wanted Billy to be proud of his father. Whatever your husband is, he chose himself. I know. A man has to know how far he can go. And a woman can't push him. She can help. She can't force. If you love him, let her lead you. I should get him to go back. I've got to. No, you don't.
Ready? Did you tell your mother? No. So we cut across Stone Canyon and way past Mr. McGregor's place. But there wasn't a sign of him.
What's this all about?
We went out looking for Mr. Hunter's horse. We just didn't have time today. We'll try again tomorrow over near White Falls. Now they'll have to stay a little longer with us, won't they, Mom?
I guess so.
I'm gonna give Flicka a rub down. You wanna come, Billy? In a minute. Okay. Pop, we'll find him for you.
When we get the horse back, Sam, maybe the best thing is turn back to Ohio.
No.
Your father's a printer, Billy, not a farmer. The whole idea was wrong. You tried, but it isn't working out.
It's your fault. You want to turn him back. I heard you in there with Mrs. McLaughlin. Didn't my mother say she was going to force him to go back?
Well, not just that way, Billy.
You did. You said you were going to force him to go back. Don't let her, Pop. You can do anything Ken's father can do.
Hush up, Billy. Her mind's made up. Run along.
Maybe your mind's made up. I'll make up my own. I'm asking you for a horse, Mr. McLaughlin. I don't want to wait around to find the one I lost. I want to go on today.
You're forcing yourself on account of your son, aren't you?
I'm willing to pay for the animal.
I don't want your money. You're going to need that wherever you're going. But if you want a horse, you can work for it.
Oh, Rob, you can't.
Well, Nell, you stay out of this. What about it, Hunter?
All right. Whatever you say.
Oh. How long are you going to keep this up? He's been working for days.
I'll give him one more day. By then, he ought to be convinced about going back. Everything he's doing for me, he'll have to do for himself. Only 10 times harder. And there'll be nobody to help him. Nobody. So we better find that out now and go back.
You want him to go on, don't you? You make him work for the horse so he'll know what he has to face when he gets to Oregon.
Isn't that it?
Good night, honey.
You win. If it makes you any happier. He's proved his point, Martha. We're going back to Ohio. And I've worked as much as I can for that horse. Whatever I owe you, I'm paying the rest.
You take the horse. It's already paid for.
The boys will be back soon.
Up at White Falls Canyon. We tracked the horse down. He's all wounded and crazy. Ken said a mountain lion had a fight with him.
Where's Ken?
Flicka got loose from him. She's caught up in a box canyon with the other horse. They're fighting. Somebody better get up there before she's killed.
Gus!
Pop, Flicka's in trouble. Aren't you going?
What can I do?
Well, then, I guess you are a printer's helper.
Let's go.
Dad, I can't get her out.
Can't you shoot him?
No need to. He'll calm down in a couple of days.
Hurry, Dad.
Gus, get up alongside of that canyon, see if you can get a rope on him. Yeah. I'll go in from this end.
He's going after my dad. We've got to stop him.
Here! You stay back!
Dad! Dad! Are you all right? Bye, Ken. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for everything. Mrs. Hunter, would it be all right if I...
If you want him to have it, Ken, just give it to him. It's none of our affair, Martha. I guess I've gained far more than a horse.
We'll write when we reach Oregon. Bye.
Yeah!
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Billy.
Dad? Why was Mr. Hunter so scared of going out west?
Well, I guess courage is like a boy, Ken. It has to be given a chance to grow up.